Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to My Two Cents about the good stuff. I'm Cynt Marshall, President and CEO of Marshalling Resources, or MR as we like to call it. At MR, our goal is to lead, engage, and inspire. We hope you will enjoy these inspiring conversations of compassion, action, and impact. Each month, we will invite people to our podcast to answer what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. called life's most persistent and urgent question. What are you doing for others? Our 1-hour podcast will feature 2 people who will answer that question and much more. We will also spotlight 2 corporations who understand that a company does well by doing good. And before we sign off, we will share information about 2 upcoming events where you can make a difference and make lives better. This podcast is about making good stuff happen. If you want to be uplifted in spirit and are looking for ways to make a positive difference for others, you've tuned into the right place. We are talking to people who are up to good stuff. September is National Hunger Awareness Month. Our 2 conversations today will dig into hunger relief and food insecurity from a few different aspects. According to the Feeding America organization, 47 million people face hunger in the United States, including 13 million children. That really grabbed my heart. Hunger touches every community in the United States. 1 in 7 households are food insecure. The issue impacts our seniors too. I read an article recently that said the number of older adults who cannot afford enough nutritious food to live a healthy, active lifestyle has doubled since the turn of the century. My goodness. Let's talk about it. Our first guest today is Chris Culak. Chris is the president and CEO of Visiting Nurse Association of Texas. VNA provides care to thousands of elderly, hungry, frail, sick, and disabled individuals throughout North Texas. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to see you again. It's been what, maybe a couple of years?
Yeah.
Has been a couple of years? Yes, because I was hanging out with you guys.
That's
okay.
Right. It was fun. It was a fun day.
Yes, it was. Okay, so look, we know what your position is right now, but you've been with VNA since 2014.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? You're also chair of the board of Friends of Texas Seniors.
Right.
You've worked at the Dallas Children's Advocacy Center, something again near and dear to my heart. You've worked at the North Texas Food Bank and the American Heart Association. Yep. So it would be an understatement to say that you are all about service and what I call the good stuff. So when did this service mindset reveal itself? And just tell us a little bit about Chris. I think it goes deep.
Yeah. I actually thought about this question. I thought back to when I was growing up. I grew up in Houston, a typical family home, and I spent my summers at my family ranch, the family ranch in Central Texas. And I spent it with my grandparents. And small town Texas, where everybody has to kind of be involved in their church and the local fire department and taking care of their neighbors. So I think I grew up watching them do that. Mm-hmm. And then as I got older and got into college and began thinking about a career, I went on and did a career in health administration, primarily because I liked the business aspect side of that. But then I thought, you know what, if I could take a business degree and also do something good with that, healthcare, maybe that'll work. And so then started out American Heart, rolled through the food bank and Dallas Children's Advocacy Center, and been with VNA for 11 years, and here I am.
I love it. So let's talk about VNA.
Yes, ma'am.
The Dallas Morning News once named VNA as one of the top 100 places to work.
Yep.
So describe for everybody, all of our listeners, what do y'all do at VNA? Okay. Talk about your employee body, the culture. Why did you make that top 100 list?
Yeah, so the Visiting Nurse Association of Texas, we cover all 17 counties in North Texas with end-of-life care services, so palliative and hospice care. Mm-hmm. So when people are diagnosed with a serious illness, We are the provider of that care. We have about 300 or so clients each day on service with that. And then we're also the Meals on Wheels provider for Dallas County, as well as we provide meals in Denton and Rockwall County, one of the largest meals programs in the country.
Wow.
And I think really the reason why we continue to get that kind of Dallas Morning News Top 100 piece is because really people that work for us, it's a calling and a blessing and a mission really based service that we get to do every day. So we get to wake up every morning and figure out, okay, how do we feed 7,000 people through both home delivered and congregate meals? How do we make sure we're at the bedside of people that are at the end of their lives, taking care of their family, taking care of them? So when you have a group of people that work in a company and that's what they do every day, you're really waking up and doing something that's just a little higher calling than just an average job or profession. You're really coming to work for us because you really want to give back, and we feel like it's a great place to do that.
I felt that when I spent the day with you, that people truly felt called to be there. I actually felt called to be there that day. So you mentioned kind of the number of people that you serve. Do you serve them every day? I think some people will be surprised at just the kind of activity that's happening in the building. So talk about that, and then talk about whether or not the cost to doing business. What are we doing right now? Because things are different right now.
Sure. So every day, Monday through Friday, is our meal service.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, it's a lunch meal. Again, 5,300 people that we deliver to their doorstep. There are around 2,000 are in the congregate centers, which are the senior centers around North Texas.
Yes.
And then really on the hospice side, that's 24 hours. I mean, we have people that are on service with us, and we're taking care of them all throughout the day, in the evening, whenever they need care for that. And so it is a healthcare business that runs around the clock, 24 hours a day. From a funding standpoint, I think we're like a lot of organizations out there where the push and pull of the economy, the cost of doing business, the cost of providing healthcare, the cost of insurance, the cost of all those things related, we have to constantly think about not only how do we continue to provide those meals to clients, primarily through the more volunteers we have, the less cost it is to us. And then really, how do we make sure that we're able to provide the best possible healthcare in an environment that's ever changing? Rules, regulations, things change all the time in healthcare. And so we have to always stay kind of ahead of that and make sure that we're providing the best possible care. I think what makes VNA different, like a lot of our nonprofit partners in healthcare, is we don't have investors, right? Our investors are the community. Our investors are the people that we serve. And so our level of care is higher. Well, what means in that case a lot of times is your margins are also smaller. Right? And so dollars have to be stretched. Community relations have to be better because we have to raise funds to help offset certain costs. So really for us, it's a mission-based, mission-focused way we approach our work. We try to say that the patients and clients come first. So when we're doing our work every day, we're thinking about how we want to operate, is what we're doing in the best interest of the clients and patients we serve. And I think as long as we keep that focus, all the ins and outs of funding and all the ins and outs of regulations and all the reports and things you have to do on a regular sort of business way, I think we're able to provide great care because we really try to focus on the people we serve.
I love that. And it is a business, so we can't lose sight of that.
It is.
So tell me, how do you get your volunteers? And then if somebody wants to help the organization, how can they donate? And this is about good stuff. We want people to be
absolutely
spurred to doing good things.
What we really like about our meals program is, and really what I think volunteers like about it is, there are thousands of organizations in North Texas to volunteer for, and they all are great causes. For us, and you learned this when you came out and helped us that day, you get to actually deliver to the end user. You can pick up the meals from where we make our meals and where we distribute them out around Dallas and Denton County, and then you get to take your route and drive over to a client's home and knock on the door. And that interaction is probably one of the only things that client's going to see that day. You're providing them the meal. You're having a few minutes to talk with them, share, kind of what's going on in their lives, and they can share with you. And it's some good sort of fellowship for a few minutes. And really, from a volunteer standpoint, it's a unique opportunity because you really get to interact with the clients.
That was my experience. That's what. Okay, so I thought we were just going out to deliver meals.
Right.
Okay. But what I learned that day, and I want you to say more about it, is that visit has a broader impact than just feeding somebody naturally.
Yeah.
Because the people we were talking to, I mean, they were inviting us into their homes to sit down. I have one of my favorite pictures is talking to someone right at her fence, and she wouldn't let us go.
Right.
And that's when I realized this is bigger than food.
It is. So social isolation, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are too many people in this country that live alone and don't
Yes.
really have a family or neighborhood support. And so really meals, knocking on the door
Yes.
and talking to somebody is as important as the nutrition side, because it really shows them that someone cares. I also think too is when it's a volunteer, and the clients know that, they know when it's a volunteer, having someone that's taken time out of their day to come and deliver a meal to them, to sit down and visit with them, that sort of shows them that they mean something to our community and that they're valued. And the greater impact of meals programs, not just here in North Texas or around the state or around the country, is that when you look at studies of people that are, say, receiving meal service or not, the people that receive meals and receive someone talking to them every day, that kind of safety check piece, and seeing if they need other things, because we always try to provide them with additional resources.
Yes.
They utilize the healthcare system less. And so the impact goes beyond just you talking to that person and feeding them or whatnot. It really has a greater and broader impact on the healthcare ecosystem.
Yes.
Really on the impact of all of us that sort of utilize that. And so the ability for us to have even a greater impact on the community as a whole through our program even makes what we do even more exciting.
That's the insight I received from that day.
Yeah.
It's about that physical, mental, and spiritual food that people are getting.
Exactly.
And that I actually got from the visit as well. It was like soul food for me. I didn't want to leave, as you know.
Yeah. A lot of volunteers deliver with us because they want to give back.
Yes.
But I think a lot of volunteers get sometimes more out of it than the actual client maybe.
I did.
Because it really is an easy way to come and volunteer. And it's a really easy way to really see your impact and to really have impact on another person. And I think that in today's world, people are looking for those opportunities.
Yes.
It doesn't take a lot, right? Like once a week or once a month or a couple of times a year. Every time anybody comes and does that, whether they do it once or 10 times a year, it has a huge impact, not just on the people that we serve, it has an impact on VNA's ability to serve more people. And so it's a really a cool experience for people to do.
And it was great for us to be there with our entire work team,
right,
to help even like prepare the meals and all that. And so that was already uplifting my spirit when we spent that time. Right. And then by the time I went out and visited, I mean, I was just pretty much done by the time I got home.
Right.
I'm thinking, what do I do for a living? I just want to go out and do this every day.
Right.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question about misconceptions.
Sure.
There are so many misconceptions that people have about food insecurity in America. Okay. Describe the person to me that could be suffering through food insecurity.
So for us, what's interesting is that when you deliver meals on a regular basis, and I do it once a week, you get to kind of know the people.
You actually go out there too, the CEO.
Every Thursday I deliver a route.
I love that.
And the reason
I must have been there on a Thursday, huh? Because we were running around together.
I forget if we're on a Thursday or not. But so the reason I do that is, number one, it's what we do as an organization.
Yes.
We encourage everybody to do it.
Awesome.
It also sort of reminds you why you do your work.
Yes.
Not a clinician, so I could give you a flu shot, but you probably don't want me to. So I can go deliver meals is much easier.
Yes.
And so really when I'm out there interacting with clients and you begin talking to them, you may build a little relationship with them, people move in and off routes. There's one lady in particular who worked at Neiman Marcus for 50 years. And she's just like the rest of us, who had a great career, and took care of her family, and now lives and is a senior and needs a little extra assistance.
Yes.
And so I think the misconception is that food insecurity is a lot more than I think people normally think in their head what a food insecure person is. Mm-hmm. And I think the big misconception is that it's what I think a lot of people see is homeless, and those are homeless neighbors,
right,
and the support they need. But there are lots of people out there that you interact with on a daily basis. You see at the grocery store, or you see wherever, at church or wherever you are, And there are more people that really it's the access to food.
Right.
Maybe they
Right.
can't physically get out to get to the grocery stores often, or maybe they can't physically get out to get to a pantry or a program that provides them with care. So for meals, knocking on the door and handing it to them, it allows us to not only help them be fed, but also helps them keep from being food insecure, which I think is a big part of the work too.
Exactly. You're providing healthy meals and they get at least 5 of them a week.
Right.
Because we know there are some people who only have, they only get 2 or 3 meals.
Right.
We know that there's some children who only get meals at school.
Right.
So what you all are doing is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you measure success? Is it meals delivered, people served? How do you measure success?
I think for us, it's more around the significance of the impact that we do. So you can measure success in numbers. Everybody does,
Yes.
right? How many meals we deliver, how many points you score, that kind of thing. But really for us, it's about how are our programs having impact on the community as a whole.
Yes.
And are we doing our part within this larger ecosystem of healthcare and nonprofits? Because I think sometimes people try to do too many different things, and ours is really these two, meals and end-of-life care. And if we can do those two really well,
Yes.
then we're having an impact on the health system, on the social service system, on just the healthcare infrastructure. And it allows us to be a part of a solution that I think a lot of nonprofits and a lot of groups are really always looking for.
Right. Right.
Metrics are great. You got to be able to measure that. But
Right.
for us, really, it's about significance and impact. And that if we're doing that, that's how we measure success.
And you're allowing us to be a part of it too,
Yes, ma'am.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you think of the people you serve,
Yep.
just give me one story that comes to mind that captures the heart of the program. I know you have several
Yeah,
stories.
let me think.
Because I know I have mine about the woman at the fence. I want to go back and see her.
Yes. So earlier this summer, we always try to know when our clients' birthdays are.
Oh.
And so when you deliver in our little system, it'll actually tell you that, the birthday is September 20th. It won't tell you the year, but we do know that.
Yes.
And so there was one client earlier this was in June, it was her 100th birthday. And so we not only delivered her a meal, but we brought a cake and balloons and had a bunch of people kind of show up and really having a significant impact on, someone that's 100 years old. It's been around that long, still lives in her house in West Dallas by herself, still sits on her porch and waits for the meal delivery. And she's always a great conversation. But being able to do something a little extra special for her on her 100th birthday was fun for a lot of us to go and experience.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go back. I want to go back for the 101st birthday.
Well, there you go.
Please, I want to go back.
She'd be happy to have you.
Okay, so Chris, what gives you hope that we're going to solve hunger or at least have fewer seniors who are food insecure? Where do you get your hope from?
I think I get my hope from that there are a lot of organizations in North Texas, in Texas, around the country that have the resources to serve. It's really around how do we connect the seniors to the right places?
Yes.
Or how do we connect families? Or
Yes.
how do we connect children? And I really think that the hope is as organizations like ours and a few of the others that we partner with are looking at how do you solve food insecurity or how do you solve just social challenges, you kind of come together and say, okay, you guys do really well here and we do really well here. And it's marrying those things. So the hope for me is that there are plenty of resources. It's how do you unlock that to allow people to have access to it.
Yeah, bring people together.
Yep.
We're better together.
Absolutely.
We know that.
Absolutely.
So if you could leave one message, and this is my next to last question, if you could leave one message with policymakers, philanthropists, or everyday citizens, what would it be?
Okay. So in the philanthropy world, less than 1% of all funding goes towards senior causes, right?
Oh my goodness, say that again.
Say
it again for the people in the back, Chris.
So less than 1% of all philanthropy in the U.S., so when each year the philanthropy report comes out, the generosity in this country is enormous, as you know.
Yes, absolutely.
Less than 1% directly goes to organizations serving seniors. So you've got these huge pie chart, education, children, religion, so forth and so on. Seniors is less than 1% of that. And so I think from a philanthropy side is, take a look at the impact that organizations that are serving seniors have. Take an impact not only on the person they're serving, but on what it means to the ecosystem of healthcare and social service. From a policymaker standpoint, feeding people nutrition-wise is pretty basic and pretty easy. It's not controversial, right? It's a bipartisan. Everybody loves to deliver meals on wheels kind of thing. Like it's not a controversial issue. We have too many of those. I think it's
we love our children and we love our seniors.
Correct. Like so really looking at how do we continue to make those things a priority, fund those.
Wonderful.
Little increases in funding will go a long way to support that. So it's really around look at the impact that those organizations have and really support their efforts.
Well, I will tell you, it's on the top of our list from a philanthropic standpoint with my family, but it's because of my sister Rosalind. So my sister Roz is a social worker in the San Francisco Bay Area, and her focus is seniors.
There you go.
And that's where she spends all of her time. And so then she started telling us about it, and not just telling us, calling us saying, okay, I need this, I need that, I need you to write a check for this. And part of it, I'm kind of connecting the dots right now because the funding is not always there. And she's working hard every day, just like you, to take care of the seniors. Okay, so my last question. When you think about your own dinner table, and I'm not going to ask you what's on it. I'm sure it's something healthy, probably healthier than mine. What do you hope every family in America can experience?
I think it's the fellowship at the dinner table, right? You know, everybody's cultures or everybody's what they eat is going to be different, right? You know, we're a pretty healthy-ish family from that standpoint. But I think it's really around how do you sit around the table and have conversations that allows your children to really understand the world that's around them.
Yes.
We encourage our kids to, you know, one's off in college now, but we encourage them to ask us questions about things they've heard or seen and to have open conversations just so that they can have an understanding. I think too often we try to guide their thinking. I don't want to necessarily do that, but I do want to give them the resources to make the decisions on their own. And so I think if families sat around a table every evening and talked about their day, you know, you kind of go through the cadence of that. But if there's bigger issues that are out there or things they heard about at school or heard on the news, and you can kind of really talk through that and help them understand what it is. Sure, you have your philosophy as a family around, you know, your take on that.
Yes.
Of course, we all do.
But they've got to form.
But I think allowing them to form their own viewpoints, I think would only make America, you know, as best as it could be.
It's about that dialogue. And I love the fact that you went beyond food with that answer. And that's exactly what I experienced in my day with you all with Meals on Wheels. It's bigger than just food. Yes, we have to address this problem. We are addressing it, but it's so much bigger than that. And we have an opportunity to really have that dialogue and to bring just some light and some brightness to people when we deliver those meals.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Chris. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what your organization is doing for our community. You are truly a force for good. And I know you have inspired others today to really have an impact. So I know you are going to be late.
Thank you for having me.
Late to a meeting.
No, I'm good.
With us.
I'm
but
good.
Thank you so much. I love what you do, and I want to come back, and I want to visit Miss 101 years old.
That sounds great.
Thank you so much. During each episode of My 2 Cents About the Good Stuff, we will shine a light on 2 corporations. These corporations are not sponsors and aren't paying me to talk about them. In fact, I don't have any sponsors. I can do and say what I want to do and say. In our first spotlight, I want to highlight my friends at Bank of America. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Jennifer Chandler and her amazing team. My dear sister friend Connie will showcase this first corporate spotlight. Connie, take it away.
Thank you, Cynt. Bank of America is an example of a company doing exceptional things to fight hunger. The bank knows that hunger is a deeply rooted social and economic challenge in North Texas and across the country. Bank of America is committed to addressing the most pressing needs facing our communities and delivering on its goal to build a stronger future, which is why it has committed to nearly $2 million in hunger relief funding in North Texas since 2022. Awesome. This includes a $1 million multi-year investment in the United Way of Metropolitan Dallas Fund to address food accessibility and insecurity in Southern Dallas. Thank you, Bank of America, for making a difference and for bettering the lives of many.
Ah, Bank of America, give a shout out. Yes, 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 yes. Woo. Our next guest is not just my friend, she's more like a sister. And not just the founder and CEO of Minnie's Food Pantry or one of the hosts of the Cheryl and Vicky Show. Cheryl Action Jackson is a humanitarian who has dedicated her life to serving others. She is a visionary, actionary, and hunger hero. Cheryl, it is a pleasure to have you on my first episode of My 2 Cents About the Good Stuff.
And how exciting am I to be sitting in this seat? Oh
You
my
were
God.
one of the first people, as you know, to tell me that I needed to have a podcast.
Yes.
And I'm like, girl, I don't have time, I don't have time, and I don't have time. So finally, we are here.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to say thank you because I know you cut a trip off. I mean, you cut it short to be here today. So I want to be nosy. Tell me, where were you yesterday and what were you doing?
So I was in Shreveport, Louisiana with Kenny Lattimore and with some of the city officials, and we were going around. They were taking and showing me land and talking to me about the hunger issues that they face in Louisiana.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
And
goodness.
how could Minnie's Food Pantry help change the numbers of the people that are hungry and homeless in that state? And then just how do we build out Shreveport to where people will want to come? It was very intriguing. I don't know how my name got put up in it, but to be picked up from the airport by Kenny Lattimore himself.
I know that's I know, which is why you're sitting in this chair.
Oh, thank you.
Because of the legacy that you are building, and you are not trying to build a legacy.
Right.
You are just trying to do what the Lord called you to do, and we're going to talk about kind of where that calling came from and all that. But I'm not surprised that they call you, because I told you a long time ago, your impact is going to go around the globe.
Yeah.
Not just the United States, but around the globe. So I'm glad you traveled back to this part of the globe to be with us today, because you know I wanted you on this first one, and especially with September being National Hunger Awareness Month.
Yes,
I mean, I mean, my goodness, you had to be here.
And thank you for shining the light on hunger. People don't understand that there are so many individuals that need something as simple as their next meal.
Yes.
And in our community, especially the affluent community in the state of Texas, people will smile in your face and be afraid to tell you they need a meal.
Yes.
But unfortunately, we live in a state where most people are living at their means. And when some emergency happens, then they'd have to decide, do I pay my light bill or do I buy a meal for my children? And then that's where Minnie's Food Pantry step in. And so, you know, I heard your first guest, Chris, talking about feeding the elderly.
Yes, yes.
And we have this thing called Find the Food, Follow the Food. And since I was looking out of my office and a taxi pulled up and 6 elderly people got out the taxi, some were in wheelchairs, all friends 70 and up. And my grandparents, they're deceased. But I said, okay, let's follow the food with them. I hugged them and everything.
Of course.
When we followed it, we went to an apartment complex and we realized that 65 apartment units in that complex had senior citizens. And when we started visiting them, there were empty cat food, but they didn't have animals. That's what they were eating, and they were left alone. And so we adopted that one apartment complex, and since then we've adopted 4. I didn't set out on a mission to be Meals on Wheels as well, but when you have to do it, you do what you have to do. And this is like our 10th or 11th year serving them, but we literally give them a Christmas off-site, and we'll ask them, what do you want? And some of them, their list says a pair of socks, or one of them may say a new face cloth and a new towel, right? And it's just like, this is all they want. But of course, this is why I'm loving My 2 Cents About the Good Stuff, because the good news is that when people understand there's a need, then people love to respond
They step
to
up
the
to
need.
it.
And so your platform is going to really open everybody's eyes to, we can all do some type of good on some level.
Yes.
So that's why I'm so like giddy, because so many people follow you in the good that you do. And I'm one of them. I remember when you came the first time to the first Dallas Mavericks event, and I'm a Black woman, as y'all can see, and I'm like trying to get
Beautiful
money.
Black woman.
Thank you. But I was trying. I mean, I'm the #1 Mavs fan. I'm feeding the hunger, and I could never get any money. And you looked at me, they were pulling at you. Cedric the Entertainment was there, and they're like, you got to go. And I was like, ma'am, Cynt. And you turned around and you looked at me. You said, what is it, baby? I said, I feed the hungry. I need some help. Like, and you go, I got you. Take my phone number down. And you literally, I was like, I remember that. Giving me a cell number.
Yeah.
I put it in there.
Yes.
And I called you. And you got me my grant from the Dallas Mavericks. But you didn't just put your money where your mouth was. You came. And since you've been there, every single year you brought the Mavs dancers. You came yourself.
Yes,
and
I love it.
And you made my office
I love it.
a Dallas Maverick office.
We did.
Right? You did.
We
You
took
came in,
over.
oh, honey, I got this. You're going to do this.
Yes.
And that's what people need to understand is whatever level you were on this level and you brought your level into my office. And every time I walk into my office, there's Cynt Marshall, your handprint is over this entire community. And I have to say thank you for that. I never met the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks, and I was a #1 Dallas Maverick fan until you came. And so I am so honored to be sitting in this seat and to be able to say thank you. And I can tell you this, you will hear that probably from everybody that you have on this show because of the life that you have led. And so
Thank
if
you.
all of us, you're welcome, can mirror just a little part of the good stuff that Cynt Marshall does, baby, Dallas, Fort Worth, and the world.
It's what the Lord
Okay.
called us to do,
He
because
did.
you know it's not about me,
He always
and I
said.
appreciate all of that, but I want to talk about you, okay? And I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I mean, that is my prayer every day is, Lord, keep me humble and let me do what you have called me to do. And that's lift up others, serve others. My sister always talk about how,
That
you know, I
sister
just bring
yours.
others along. She's coming up next.
Yeah.
Sandra's coming up. She's going to do a
Sandra's
corporate,
amazing.
profile. So the Lord just put us together to be a blessing. So I want to talk about Minnie's. I want you to share with people the vision of Minnie's Food Pantry, how it got started.
Pain.
Just tell the story,
Just
okay?
pain.
We don't have a box. We need a box of tissue, but tell the story and then talk about how it got started, but then the mission. What are you about?
It was simple. It came from a place of pain. Everybody always says, how do I find my purpose? Go back to the worst pain you've had in your life. You will find your purpose.
Now that's a
there.
word right there, because that's one thing I definitely wanted you to help people get in touch with, is how they can do good stuff. How can they serve? Because there are people who want to do good things. They have a desire, but they just don't even know where to get started. So I'm glad you just already answered that one. So keep going.
Yes,
keep going.
ma'am. And Minnie started because there was a time that I couldn't feed my own 2 children. My husband and I collectively were working 5 jobs. And I left my 2 sons at home while we would get up at 1 o'clock in the morning to throw the Dallas Morning News and the Allen American newspaper. So there was a block of time, almost 3.5 hours, where my kids were home alone. And as a mom, I was crying. I was in the back seat of our car and all the newspapers were piled up. The trunk is up and my husband would have the window down and he'd say, left, right, left, right. And I would throw it so hard I was hitting windows and doors because I was angry as a mom, worried about my own children.
Yes.
And I decided, I said, I'm going to go apply for food stamps. I said, because we got to have a good meal. I married at 17 and my dad had told my husband, if you can't take care of my daughter, bring her back. So my husband said, you can't tell him. You can't tell him. And we literally took him at his word.
Right.
So when I applied for food stamps, it was so horrific. And they said, we're declining you because I made $8 too much. And I said, but the worst part about it was they gave me this bag and I got home and opened it up. And the only thing I remember were beets. Everything else was expired. And I still haven't cooked beets to this day. But life got better. I met Emmett Smith. I wrote a business plan for Emmett Smith.
Yes.
I started doing red carpet. No college. I said, hey, I was a Pentecostal girl, but I thought I was supposed to be in front of the camera on TV.
You know, I grew up in a Pentecostal church.
So you
We're
know.
going to try to
No,
get out of the
thank God.
studio before midnight, okay? Because we can go.
I know.
God's been good to us.
He has. And so life got so much better. And then Father's Day weekend, my father died suddenly at 58 years old. I lived across the street.
Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, Father's Day weekend. I lived across the street from my mom. And for 3 years, I got down to 106 pounds. And my mom said, babe, you're going to die. You got to get up and do something. Her name was Minnie, as you know. And I said, Mom, you're all I have left. And she's wiping the tears. I said, I want to feed the hungry. I said, I want the world to know your name because you were so great to me. And I said, God, what do I do? He He said, feed the hungry, give them what you wanted to receive when you needed a meal, and treat them how you wanted to be treated. And so I took the experience of interviewing people at the Oscars, and there was a red carpet. I said, what if I had a food pantry where people, when they walk in, their head is down, but there's a red carpet so they know we love them. And then my mother always had this beautiful scents in our house. And I said, what if I had scents going? So I literally went to Neiman's and waited for them to change the air scents, and I got the people's card. And I said, I want your scent so it smells expensive in my little 500 square foot building store, right?
We like scent.
That's it. We like scents. We do, right? And then I said, and what if there could be music? Because my mother loved to sing, a family of 7, and she would sing all that gospel music, and it was 7 of us. So I said, okay, those are the 3 foundations. And the other 3 things is treating people with dignity, integrity, and with respect. We started it with 2 cans of corn in a 500 square foot building. People would bring me expired food, and I would say, close your eyes.
Say that again, 2 cans of corn.
2 cans of corn in a 500 square foot building. I had a table in front for security.
2 cans and 500. That's,
And a 500
like
square
2 little
foot
fish,
building.
5 loaves of bread.
I didn't think of that.
That's a book coming.
I never even,
go
I
ahead,
never
keep
think of
going.
that. Oh my God.
I got you.
Oh, that's
Keep going.
good.
That's
For real.
good. That's good.
Yeah. That's
Go ahead.
real good.
That's a book. We got 2 to talk about, but that's going to be the 3rd one. Go ahead.
And so when I started it, people would come and give me that expired thing. And one thing I told God is never let me forget how I felt. And so when I'm speaking, I'm crying all the time. Why do you cry all the time? Because I always go back into that place.
You want to feel it.
So, I can make you feel what I feel.
Yes.
Because if I can make you feel it, then you're going to come in and you're going to help me.
Yes.
And so people would give me expired food. And I said, close your eyes for a minute. I said, now, when you open up your eyes, imagine I'm the person you love the most. Is this the meal you want me to give to them? Because it would be expired food. So I didn't want to make them feel bad that they were giving me food. But I wanted to create awareness.
Give them to think.
And they would say, okay, I get it. I'll be back. And from that day to this, people will say, that girl over there, Minnie, she don't take no expired food. She don't take nothing. But you have to set that presence.
You set the standard. You set the standard.
And that's what I think people like. And then when people come in, before COVID, we would give free hugs because my mother hugged everybody.
Yes.
So we would have people with shirts on that said free hugs. And that's all the women or men did. They hugged everybody that came in. And it was just, my mother said it was a place of hope, having only positive emotions and helping other people eat.
That's what it's about.
Minnie's is a place of hope. And so when we say you come into the grounds of Minnie's, it's like in Jesus, when he said, Moses said, this ground that you stand on is holy ground. This is a hope ground. You don't have to worry about wherever you are right now. Step out of it because you're with people who are going to help you get to the next level.
Safe space.
And that's how it started.
Space.
That's how it started because of my dad dying.
Give me a good story of somebody who walked into that safe space, something that, and I know you have thousands of stories.
I do.
Give me one that truly touched you that you can share with our listeners.
I will tell you that people always say they want to volunteer and you don't think you can make a difference. This is a story of me not even meeting the person, but I have the letter. And the letter said, I came to Minnie's because I wanted to commit suicide. He said I was on my last leg. And I said, well, I'm at least going to go get some food. And then this is going to be my last day here. And I want to tell you that your volunteer at the front, they gave me the most beautiful hug and told me that I could make it. And because of them, I am here today. That person didn't give me their name. That person didn't tell me what date they came so I could go back and go, at least we can. And so when I am doing the opening with the volunteers, I tell them, I said, you don't know what a person is going through. You could be that lifesaver. And I've
heard you say that. I mean, you volunteer in there. I've heard you say that a lot, but I didn't know the story underneath it.
Yes, ma'am.
You literally mean
being
the lifesaver.
And we get so many of those stories of hope and despair, but then hope once they get to Minnie's. And that's what we do. We are game changers when they come. They come for food, but food is the last thing on my mind now to give them when they come.
Right, it's bigger than food.
Yeah, it's
bigger than
food.
The physical food.
Exactly. There's a mental and spiritual, emotional food that we're giving them. And then when they go home, they eat. And so some people will come to Minnie's and say, it's not even my day to get food. Can I just come and get a hug? And that's when you know you've created an experience and something special.
That is beautiful. Okay, so speaking of something special, I've been there quite a few times.
Yes, you have.
And
you run the place every time.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We run around and it's crazy. Several of those times have been during your Thanksgiving Day giveaway that I know is coming up November 22nd.
It is.
Talk to me about that day. Just describe it for people. It is unreal. I mean, literally, the cars are lined up on the freeway.
Yeah, miles,
Yeah.
5-6 miles long. Last year, I always go and interview the first couple of cars in line.
And you
It
get
was
there, what, like 3 in the morning?
3 in the morning.
Right.
That's my call time. Yeah. So,
Because I know one time you told me to meet you. I said, okay, but girl,
Like, you said, what?
I need to be there like around 5 or something. I don't know if I need to. Oh, Lord have mercy. I didn't even go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly. But I mean, that's people don't understand what it takes
Right.
to feed the hungry. Like there's some days I can't walk because I picked up 100-pound boxes and my body is just worn out on me. But when I look into the eyes of one person that has gratitude, and there's so many thousands of them that have been in our community. But last year it was a 72-year-old man and woman, and they spent the night before. And I thought to myself, what if my grandparents were alive? How would I feel knowing that they slept in their car the night before my Thanksgiving giveaway just to make sure their entire family had a meal?
Right.
And that's the story. That is a story the night before they start lining up. And the city of Plano, which is where we're headquartered, came and said, you cannot have an event at your location anymore because it's not just feeding. It's an event.
It's an event.
It's a production.
An event.
And you know this because you
When
bring
you
out the
feed your
Dallas
soul, too,
Mavericks.
it's an event. I mean, the music, the dancing, the
Emerald City
whole
Band.
spirit. It's like a carnival. The spirit
Yeah, it is.
is alive out
It is.
there.
I think it was last year when you came out and you led the cheerleaders.
Oh, yeah. I used to be a cheerleader back in the day. And this boy,
you
go
you
Bears.
did play with them.
I did play with them.
And so Emerald City Band, normally they'll charge. People say, well, they charge us $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. And they say, this is our give back. And so they play for free for 2 hours. And you're doing something right, Cynt. Thank you. When people will pull up and they have their phone out and they're videotaping, I'm here at the food pantry to get my turkey meal, right?
Yes, I know, because you and I have jumped up in some of those cars. I get us on the video.
If you weren't doing it the right way, who would want somebody to know?
They're not ashamed of it. They're not ashamed of it.
We are not ashamed.
They're not ashamed of it. It's a whole good spirit that's in there. So I'm hoping people can come out.
They are.
On November 22nd. We'll be there.
There's a waiting list of volunteers.
It's wonderful. We'll volunteer, and you always give us a nice T-shirt and all that.
We got it.
It's fabulous.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move past Minnie's Food Pantry.
Yes, ma'am.
And let's talk about Cheryl, the author.
The author.
So we know a lot about Cheryl, the humanitarian, which you really are. I know you don't like that title, but you are.
Actually, it's growing on me now. You're making it grow
well,
on
it
me.
should grow because you are a humanitarian.
I never thought of. You keep saying every time you say it, I go, I kind of like that.
Well, you are though. That's who you are.
I'm gonna receive that.
Like that's who you are. So you receive that.
Yes, ma'am.
So I intentionally did not mention that you're an author. Your first book that I have read a few times, you probably didn't even know I had this.
I did not know you had. When I saw it come out of your purse, it was like, she's got my first book.
Well, yes, because I don't know if I ever told you this. My daughter, when she was at, my youngest daughter was at Paul Quinn College. You came to speak there.
She was there.
Oh my goodness, she was a freshman.
Shirley?
No, Alicia.
Alicia?
She was a freshman. And oh my goodness, that weekend, because we check in with her every weekend, she says, Mom, there's this lady named Cheryl Action Jackson, and she reminds me so much of you and her story. And she was going on and on. It inspired her. So I had to look up Cheryl Action Jackson. So yes, I did get your
You
book.
remind me of my mom.
I know you told me that, and I'm just honored.
You do.
I'm honored. So what is this about? It says your first, what in the world
It's
are you doing? February 2011. Tell us about this book.
It was a clarion call to action. It is like, I don't have a lot. I realized I didn't have a lot to give, but I had something.
Yes.
And so it was my challenge to people to say, just what can you do? What can you do with your 2 corns?
Right.
Or what can you do with your $2? Or
Right.
no money, but time.
Time.
Or talent.
Time, talent,
and
treasure.
treasure.
You can give us something. And I've even
Something.
added like thought leadership.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, because
I love
sometimes
it.
you just need people in there strategizing and thinking with you. You can give something.
And so this was a story
all
of
good
how I
stuff.
started. Exactly. It's the story behind the scenes of how I got started with Minnie's and all the funny stories of me trying to get Oprah Winfrey to come and
It's
help
funny.
and meeting the not Diana, but Sarah Ferguson,
yes,
and working
yes.
for Emmett Smith, and how I didn't go to college, but I sold him a pager, and then later on it went. God has a way of connecting you with people. The pager breaks.
Oh, he knows
calls
what
and
to do.
says, write a business plan for this. And now I go into business with Emmett Smith, and we start Emmett Smith Communication.
I
So
love
it's
it.
like a story of how one ordinary person, just like me or you, can use our life to make a difference.
I
That's all
love it
it
so
was.
much. I love
Yeah.
it so much. And then this masterpiece
Oh, girl.
was released on September the 11th.
9/11.
The Power of Action.
Come on, Jesus.
Yes, yes. The power of action.
Now
Okay,
listen.
because I'm about action. You know, that's one of my 9 values.
Yes,
Okay?
you are.
So, tell us about it. Why this book and why now?
This story came from Stedman Graham coming to my office, and someone told him about how I give back, and he asked, could he come and tour?
Now, is that when he came out for the Reset Conference?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you got to talk about Reset too later. I wasn't even in the notes,
okay. It was before then. And he said, I have never seen anything like this, and I've been all over the world. But the problem is you've got to write this down, and you've got to get people, you got to start teaching people what you're doing, Cheryl. Yes. And I said, okay. He said, write the book. It's called The Power of Action. Stedman gave me the name. And I said, well, if I write it, Stedman, will you write the foreword? He said, I will. He said, because I haven't seen it. And Stedman calls me on the regular to check in with me. Who are you teaching?
Holding you accountable.
Yes.
Holding you accountable.
And then Tony Robbins started this Billion Meals. And Tony Robbins called me and said, I want you to be on the board for my Billion Meals. When the Bible says God will make your name great, I'm like, Tony, and when he called me, his name was blocked. I said, you want to talk to me? Unblock your number if you want to talk to me. And I hung up the phone. Girl, I got Tony Robbins' number in my phone right now. You want to call it? Because he sure will answer.
I love it.
But that's what God does.
I love it.
And then
the Lord will, he'll set it up.
He will.
He'll set it all up. You just do what he wants you to do, and he will set it all up.
And you help this. I remember about 4 weeks ago, I was sitting at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, Lord, I'm trying to get this book out. Almost 3 years. It's like trying to birth something. And I had not edited it. And I sent something to you, and you said, are you finished with the book? And I said, I haven't edited. You said, send it to me. And you paid to get my book edited. That's why it's sitting here today. And I just went on my husband, you okay? I said, you just don't understand. I mean, you created
I was doing it, as you know, I was doing it myself, and then I had to get on a plane, and I said, okay, so then I said, okay, I'm gonna have to pull in my professional editors because I want every single chapter to look at, because this is my sister.
But you're in the book. I talk about you in the Dallas and everything. I talk about leadership. But this is what I think everybody's gonna appreciate about this book. There's a QR code in the front of every chapter. It's
beautiful.
And this is a story of show and tell. Thank you. It is me talking about Oprah Winfrey saying she's going to come. And then the QR code is Oprah's actually 34-minute speech at Minnie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's me talking about the woman who called and said, I'm dying of cancer and I want my children to have the best Christmas ever. And the video is me going to her house, driving from Plano to Houston with my team. And then she calls and says, my daughter died before Christmas. Now, we thought she was dying. And then 2 days later, she calls and says, Cheryl, she said, they told me I have 24 hours to live. And I wanted you to be one of my final calls. And she said, when I get to heaven, I'm going to find Miss Minnie. I'm going to tell her what an angel you were on earth. And so every one of these chapters has a video about what I'm talking about. And it's another clarion call to what you're saying.
Yes.
That you can do some good.
You can do some good.
You
can do some good stuff.
It's about when we were, it's about the 8 people that were murdered. And here, mass shooting right up here in Allen. And I was it was my mom's 10-year anniversary, and I was going to her gravesite. And then they were building small crosses, Cynt. And my mother said, stay at the cross. So instead of me going to celebrate her 10-year anniversary, I turned to the cross.
I remember that.
And because I stayed there 8 days, but it started to rain. And we had made this beautiful, CNN, MSNBC, they were all there. What are you going to do? And I said, it's about to rain and we don't have tarps. And it's 9 o'clock at night. And I pick up the phone and call a woman named Cynt Marshall.
I remember. I remember. I love those calls. I love those calls.
And all the people are around me going, Miss Cheryl, what are we going to do? And you said, hold on just a second. I'm going to get my team out. And by 10 o'clock, we had Dallas Maverick tents and everything up, covering the crosses of those people who had lost their lives, because people had wrote letters on the crosses with the Sharpie. And so I was like, we guarded this, God, for 8 days to give it to their families. And now the rain is coming. How do we stop this rain from not messing up everything? And you took my call.
Of course I did. Of course I did. Of course I did.
That's good stuff.
We ended up having someone who was so upset, a season ticket holder, that the Mavericks, you remember that?
I do.
Had helped out. We weren't making any kind of political statement.
You weren't.
We were just showing compassion
I was
and helping. And I remember because it was around the time my son was getting married and the person was carrying on so bad and not telling the truth. And I'm like, it was really upsetting me that something good that we did, just trying to do good stuff, was turning into this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for Mark Cuban. I remember going back and forth with Mark, and it's like the day of my son's, like we're getting ready to do the rehearsal dinner and all that. And he came back and he said, why are you worried about this? Because I'm explaining what we were doing. He said, it's the right stuff to do.
It was.
And I'll never forget his quote. In fact, I'm putting it in a book that I'm working on. He said, you did the right thing. We did the right thing. Don't worry about this. Stop sending emails. Stop explaining. He said, the best reputation is the one you don't have to defend.
Oh, that's a good
How
one.
good is that?
That's a right.
I had my son like making a little graphic, right? The best reputation is the one you don't have to defend. He said, nobody has to defend.
No.
What we did, it was the right thing to do.
But let me just say this. I called you because I knew I could count on you. I called you because I knew that I was fixing to experience a storm.
Right.
And I knew that if I could get to my sister, she would help me get through the storm for whatever it was. Whether
we do that
we
in
all
more
the
ways
time.
than one.
I know we do it all the time. And so you're about the good stuff.
Good stuff.
That was just, somebody can take a phone call to help somebody else. This podcast is a clarion call to the good stuff that we all can do on some level in our lives.
See, I believe that with so much like craziness going on in the world.
Yes, ma'am.
We can focus on good stuff.
We can.
Be there
This is
for
so
each other. And that's
exciting
what
to
this
me.
whole podcast is about.
And look,
It's telling the stories of the good stuff.
This book
And
is
we need
about good
everybody.
stuff.
It's so about good stuff
It's about
because, of
good
course,
stuff.
I know it up close and personal and it's sound that, right?
Yes.
People need to get that.
Thank you.
People here, let me
It's about
just make
Steve
sure.
Forbes meeting. How does a woman with no college education meet with Steve Forbes?
Okay, now you've said that 3 times, so I'm going to have to call you on that. Stop saying with no college education.
I mean,
You have the best education that you can get. Okay, life has taught you a lot, and you have been educated in the scriptures. You've been educated in people. Okay, so it's just the Lord will just use people in different ways. So some people are going to get their learnings and their lessons different ways. So you don't say you don't have a college education. That's like somebody saying, well, I don't have that life experience that she has. Okay, that's your life experience. So we all get together with how the Lord called us. So you said it 3 times. Now I was going to say it after you said it twice. And I said, I'm going to let it go. But if it comes up again, I got to say something because you said like we need some tissue. You said like it's like you're apologizing. Girl, please, with what the Lord has done in your life, with what you have done as an entrepreneur, to what you have done as an author, what you have done connecting people, all the good stuff. You're talking about the good stuff, okay? Don't say that again.
you know what?
Now, I'm your big sister. You know I'm your big sister.
No,
older
I
than you.
appreciate it.
Don't say it
appreciate
again.
it because I say it a lot. Because
Stop it.
the week after Oprah came,
Uh-huh.
one of the people on my board actually said, we need to have a meeting. This is the week after Oprah Winfrey came and he said, so you just got Oprah and you didn't go to college. Imagine what would have happened had you gone to school. And it made me just feel like so less than. And I've carried that statement for like 10 years that I'm like, okay.
Well, you
so
wouldn't have got Oprah because you would have been somebody else doing
But
some
I'm
other
saying,
thing.
you
I didn't
just
get
released
Oprah.
it. Yeah.
I got a degree from Berkeley.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's good.
It is good. Okay, the Lord has set it all up
You
where
just
it's supposed
freed
to
me.
happen.
Thank
So
you.
I freed you. Okay, so now, because I oh my gosh. Okay, so look,
You.
allow me to answer the question for you because this is about when Dr. King said life's most persistent and urgent question is what have you done for others? That's something I have focused on for many years. It's, and I grew up reading and listening to Dr. King and all that. It is because my parents, okay,
Yes.
I'm born in Birmingham, right? And out of all of his quotes, that one is the one that always stuck with me. And so that is the urgent and persistent question. What have you done for others? Not where did you go to school? What kind of degree do you have? What have you done for others? So you can answer that question. My friend Connie over here, our sister girl is going to bring some tissue up on the stage. Bring it on up. This is our podcast. We just do what we want to do. Bring it on up. Okay.
Thank you.
Let me answer that question for you. What are you doing for others? You are serving with your head, with your hands, and with your heart. Some people just give you like one. You have given all three. You have given hope and help in eradicating hunger. Now that's 6 H's, girl. 6 H's, okay? We're going to have to like frame this for you. And then you are an incredible humanitarian. That's a 7H, okay? Okay, let me add an 8th one in there. I'm going to let you go home in a few minutes, okay? But before I do, I have 2 more questions. What was going through your mind as you were recently inducted? See, you don't know, girl. I know stuff. Okay, I know stuff because I am nosy. Okay, I know stuff. What was going through your mind as you were inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame as the Humanitarian Award winner? I know you need some tissue. Just go ahead and just meditate on it. Okay. What was going through your head? What were you
I
thinking?
grew up and my dad only let me listen to gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
I love gospel music, but I
Yes.
could never sing. I just made a joyful noise.
Right.
And I always wondered if anybody would ever speak my name, like the people who you know speak your name.
Yes.
And I would never think that I would be in that Hall of Fame because there's no category for me.
Right.
So when they called my name, all I kept hearing my dad's scripture that he would quote is, "Your gift will make room for you."
Yes, it does.
And in the book that I wrote, it says there are 3 phrases and 2 words I live by. It's use me. So every day I just wake up and tell God,
Yes.
use me.
Yes.
Thank you. I try to say thank you at least 10 times intentionally a day.
Yes.
And well done.
Yes.
And I said, I just want, at the end of the day, I replay my day and say, okay, well done, Cheryl. But my parents are already with God.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get him to say, well done. And every time someone says something to me or gives me an award, I literally think, you're getting closer to God's well done. Keep going.
Just
And
keep going. Keep
that's
going.
what was going through my mind. Well done. They created a category for you.
Yeah.
And then you keep calling me this humanitarian. I'm like, humanitarian? When I think humanitarian, I think of the Nelson Mandelas, the you. Like you during your birthday, you gave me the money to give that teacher a car that was walking miles.
And you were not supposed to tell her. It came from me. It's supposed to be anonymous. And I show up at the Minnie's giveaway, and the woman comes to me. She has all these kids behind her. She's crying. And I'm like, oh, Lord, what's going on here?
Well done.
Just got there. And so then she says, I knew I wasn't supposed to know, but I know the car came from you. And I just looked. I said, where
I'm
is
sorry.
Cheryl? And then I was trying to smile at the woman. I'm like, she is not
No.
supposed to know. She said, she couldn't help it. I
You
said,
know
it's
what
okay.
they're saying.
And then I gave the woman a hug and all that. So it was
She still
beautiful.
talks about it. But my
So
dad,
you don't want, I don't want people to know, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
No, my dad would say this to me. He said, Cheryl, he said, you don't give to be seen,
Right.
but you should be seen giving. And so
Ooh,
that
I
is
love
why
that.
when you tell me not to say your name, you don't give to be seen.
Right.
But when I'm giving on your behalf, I'm going to speak your name because people need to know the goodness that when you reach a certain level, you're still giving back. And while you're trying to motivate the people on my level, you're also speaking to the people that God has blessed on your level
Yes.
to challenge them.
Yes.
So you have to be seen giving. I want someone that's on your level to go, if Cynt can do this, I need to do better.
Provoking people to good
Provoking,
work.
that's it.
To good work.
That's
My husband
it.
always said he's going to die a poor man. You know,
Yeah.
Kenny said he's going to die a poor man because his wife is going to give it all away. I said, oh, no. Boy, I'm going to have you laid out in a bad black suit. You're going to be ready. Okay, I said, you're going to be ready. Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, I will let you go home and go to sleep. I want to ask you this last question that I asked Chris Culak as well. When you think about your own dinner table, what do you hope every family in America can experience?
Love.
Love. I love that.
That, people sitting at a dinner table, yeah, they do want food.
Yes.
So what I've learned the most about providing, and we at Minnie's, I have such an amazing team. We've done over 31 million meals and counting.
31 million.
Yeah, but you know what's it? It's the love that we show that makes a woman get out of her car and don't want to leave, even though we've given her everything she can
Yes.
have. But it's the love, and people are hungry, but they're hungry for love. They're hungry for joy. They're hungry for hope. And if someone's sitting at my table, if I give them love, the food's going to come. but I need to just give them a moment to say you are loved and you are chosen. You are chosen.
Yes,
And
yes.
you will make
You've been
it whole
chosen. That's
and
what
whole.
it's about.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not even putting food at my table. Food is the last thing, but I'm going to encourage and I'm going to motivate them so that they can know that even if you need a meal,
Yeah.
you're good enough that you'll get one.
Yeah.
But let me just push you to the next level. I want
Love
to
at the
push her.
table.
Yeah.
Love
not
at the
drugs.
table.
Love
Okay,
at
that's the fourth
table.
book. Love at the table. Okay.
Thank you.
I love you, sister.
I love you. Thank you.
I love you, love you, love you. Thanks for letting the Lord use you
Thank
for
you.
what he truly has called you to do. You are feeding us in more ways than you even realize.
Thank
And you
you.
know we are right here with you. And I am so glad the Lord put us together even before I came to the Mavs.
Yeah.
Because I heard your name from my daughter the year before I came to the Mavs.
Thank you. I thank you for seeing me. And thank you for putting me in your circle of I'm gonna make sure she makes it. You know, and there are times that I'm feeling like I can't make it because I don't have a mom and dad here. And those are some of the rough times. And you'll just hit, are you okay, sis? That's good.
Sometimes you just drop in my spirit.
That's the good stuff in our lives.
Yeah.
You know that someone cares about you out of the blue. So
Yes.
please keep doing that.
It's about the good stuff.
The
I love you, sister.
I love
Go home
you.
and get
Thank
some
you.
rest. Our second company spotlight is on the Kroger Company. Nationally, they are 400 associates strong, and not just focused on their e-commerce and store experience. They've made hunger relief a priority. Cassandra, the executive administrator at Marshalling Resources, and my big sister, yes, blood sister, we look alike, will give you the highlights of our second corporate profile. Cass, big sis, take it away.
Well, Kroger has made us aware that nearly 40% of food produced in the U.S. is thrown away. That's
40%?
amazing to me. 40%
Wow.
of food produced in the U.S. is thrown away.
My goodness.
That means 229 million tons of surplus available food goes unsold, uneaten every year.
Wow.
In addition to food that's just not harvested. I mean, this is just an amazing
That's amazing.
statistic. And at the same time, 43 million Americans, 1 in 7, are struggling with hunger.
It's a lot of people.
This is a tremendous statistic. In Texas, 1 in 7 people struggle with food insecurity, while 1 in 5 children, 20%, don't even know where their next meal is coming from. But according to Kroger, this just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
This
20% of
is-
our children go
Yeah,
hungry.
That's
crazy.
This is an amazing statistic. They've created a social and environmental impact plan called #ZeroHunger, Communities.
Go on, Kroger. Zero hunger, zero waste. I like it.
Yeah, this is great. This is really great. Kroger is committed to no hunger in waste in communities by 2030. They've donated more than 3.9 billion meals.
Billion as in a B.
Billions.
Wow.
Billions. They've created that many meals through their Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan.
Beautiful.
And every day, their associates set aside surplus fresh food for local organizations to pick up and redistribute in the neighboring communities.
That's beautiful.
The company has donated more than 127 million meals to feed our neighbors in Texas. And Kroger works daily to reduce food waste and feed the human body and the human spirit. And this is amazing.
Well, that just fed my human spirit.
Exactly. They deserve to be in the spotlight for this because they're not just looking at what the circumstances are. They have decided that they're going to address them, they're going to do something about it, and that they are doing everything they can. They're doing something really good.
And they are up to good stuff.
They are up to good stuff. This is absolutely wonderful. I mean, when you see statistics like this, you have to sit and try to find some kind of way that you are going to answer it.
Yes, yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, big sis. Okay, you stay right there because Connie's going to come up too. I hope you enjoyed our two guests, Chris Culak and Cheryl Action Jackson. Both of them and their teams at the Visiting Nurse Association and Minnie's Food Pantry are immersed in good stuff and making a difference for thousands upon thousands of people in our communities. Thank you to the employees of Bank of America and Kroger for your commitment to tackling hunger in America and for also making a difference. And again, they didn't ask me to talk about it. I just did because I know their reputation, and I could not have this topic without highlighting those two companies. If you, our fabulous listeners, are looking for opportunities to make a difference, what I call mad opportunities, make a difference, listen up. We have 2 suggestions for you. Connie and Cassandra will share 2 things that are coming up, and then I will close us out.
So we absolutely have just some mad opportunities to share. This one I read about online. I had to bring my iPad because I wanted to make sure I got it all right.
I love it.
You know what? I got to be.
Let's make a difference.
This one is definitely worth sharing. Crossroad Community Services. This is an organization focused on increasing the number of food secure households.
Love it.
We're going to
Love
call it CCS.
CCS.
CCS is
You're not a cheerleader. CCS.
CCS is having their 4th annual Nourish Change Breakfast on Friday, October 24th. Can you say 24th?
24th.
24th.
Friday, October 24th.
We're going to be there. If you're somebody and you want to help people in your community,
I love it.
be here. Where are you going? I'm glad you asked.
Yes, where am I going?
The shops at Redbird.
Okay.
The address is 3662 West Camp Wisdom Road.
Wisdom is something in that.
3662 West Camp Wisdom Road in Dallas.
I love it.
If you need the zip code and you just want to send a contribution, you can
Yes.
send that. It's Texas 75237.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
The
If you can't
arrival
be there,
time,
send a check.
75237. So you don't have to be there to contribute, right? All right. So the arrival time is 7:30 a.m. with the program starting at 8 a.m.
I love it.
So if you need more information, you can just go to ccsdallas.org.
I love it.
ccsdallas.org for more information.
I love that. And CCS didn't even know you were going to highlight it. You just saw it online.
Just saw it online and say, this is worthwhile mentioning.
We love you, CCS. Keep doing good stuff.
All right.
Okay, I love that mad opportunity. Make a difference. What's the second mad opportunity, Cass?
Oh, I have another one for you, and this is Minnie's Food Pantry Thanksgiving Food Giveaway.
Yeah.
This is always fun. As a matter of fact, I had an opportunity to, when I first came to Dallas, to participate
Yes.
in Minnie's. I was serving, I was packing boxes, I was
Didn't want to leave. We couldn't find you at
I was with the kids dancing. All
Yes.
this drawback, I couldn't get out of the bed the next
You were
day.
sore for 2 days.
It was
I remember.
it was just absolutely a community event. It's so fun. It really is an event.
It is.
And this year's giveaway is scheduled for November the 22nd. It
We'll
is
be
a
there.
great time to serve, have fun,
Perfect
you
day.
will lose who you are. It is amazing when you go to Minnie's because you don't think of it as just a food pantry.
Right, right.
You just do not. It is really a place for food fellowship.
Yes.
So-
Food fellowship. I love that. Come fellowship.
It's fun. It's food fellowship. And for any other information, just go to minniesfoodpantry.org and you will find everything you need.
I love it. Those are our 2 mad opportunities. Make a difference. That's what we're about. That's my 2 cents. And I guess if you add it all up, it's 6 cents up here. Thank you for hanging out with us. Go out and make some good stuff happen. God bless you.